The book was called SOS to Humanity. In this book, it's been mentioned other youngsters like him, because they were all youngsters, following Carlos Paz and the ITRI Institute, the Interplanetary Institute. They had contact with the Jupiter beings, precisely from the moons of Jupiter, through the automatic writing. So I said, I have to try this. Not only I tried it, but shorter after that, I met one of the organizers of IPRI, of this organization from Peru, and we started to go. We had some adventures that never had they never end up like with a real contact, but we had a lot of personal experiences together, and that's the greatness about the person who's sitting in the table. Sixto Paz Wells is it's a great teacher, and he loves to talk, and he's been in every year more than 18 countries per year, so it's more than one country per month. So I guess your wife must be very happy. she's free. So that means that he has given himself to his mission, and to in a generous way, in an altruist way. And I say it like this because it's true that lots can criticize him, but my opinion is that he's a coherent guy. He's always saying the same, and his integrity has been untouched. So in all these international congresses and events and meetings that happening every month. He was the pioneer and the one who started with the Rama mission. If you pronounce it all the way around, it means amar, it means to love, and it puts us in tune with the vibration of this Congress. So with all of you, the speaker, the contactee, Sixto Paz Wells.
Maybe many of you know me, Sixto Paz Wells. I'm from a Peruvian citizen. I will be 62 years old. I'm married, and I have been married for 40 years. My wife Marina, and 7 years of being my girlfriend. She has been with me in many countries. She was here in Spain. I have studied history and archaeology in Peru in a university, and nowadays I have written 20 books. I'm part of a group of people that have been maintaining along 43 years an experience of extraterrestrial contact. The close encounters from the first type, it's when you see something strange on the sky, this is that goes against the physical laws. From the second type is when you're at home and suddenly you feel the need, the urge to go close to the window or go to the roof and look to that direction or to the other one. And you can see an object that interacts with the witness, goes up and down, right and left, as if this object wanted you to know that you are looking at it and that it wants you to see it. The third type encounters is that you're in your room and you see a light sphere, a kind of TV camera that's controlled, distance controlled, remote controlled, and you can see a silhouette from a being, or you're driving, suddenly your car stops working, and then you see these devices coming down, these UFOs coming down, or you see that the people in the UFO are coming out and they look at you. This is the third type encounters. Fourth type is when they invite you to go into their craft. If you are invited, this is a closed encounter, fourth type. If this is not willing, if you're not willing to do that, this is an abduction. It's not easy that all these people that have bad intentions are able to act in our world, because there's a group of civilizations in our planet that take care of the earth and to take care of them, so to protect them from these bad aliens. There are 60 different aliens coming here with different intentions. Not all of them have good intentions. Everything is all over the place, not only the Earth, also in the universe. Roswell in Taiwan and Chile, in Sierra Nevada and Santa Marta in Colombia. These are crafts that have been put down for others that are protecting the Earth because they are not coming with the good intentions. There's a lot of violence on the skies as well. From the fifth type is when they invite you to go with them. You travel in one of their ships, and they may take you to a base, they may take you to another planet. Along these 43 years, a group of youngsters, that's what we were, and grew up. My father taught us how to think, not to believe that in such a big universe, isn't it strange that there isn't life outside? The strange thing would be that there wasn't any life outside, and that there could be other civilizations very much advanced than ours that could be visiting us from ages, from immemorial times. And they could have been visiting the Earth not only with their aircrafts, but also mentally or astrally, even in dreams. They could be even trying to contact humanity. In January 1974, there was a news in the most conservative newspaper from Lima that talked about the Osman project, an old version of the SETI project. This project, Osman considered the radio telescopes from New Mexico to receive sounds from the outer space. We realized that there was a lot of noise around in the universe, and that these sounds could be messages sent from other planets, from advanced civilizations that were trying to communicate with their equals in the universe. From all this, we had a conference series that my father gave at the Air Force. The talks, Victor Náñez Aguirre was the one who gave the talks. He was a medical policist in Lima, theosophic and high grade of Masonry, and he spoke about telepathy, the thoughts transmission at the distance. When I was 18, I was totally fascinated for what the doctors said. I wasn't very interested in the UFO phenomenon. My father had already explained it to us since childhood. They are there, we are here. But thinking that somehow we could connect with beings from other worlds and ask them about all of these questions that each one of the human beings have asked us. Who are we? Where do we come from? Where do we go to? For me, when I was 18, this was the basic thing. A year before, I had been practicing Hatha Yoga and Mantra Yoga meditation. Techniques from breathing techniques, relaxation techniques, concentration techniques, to try to answer my questions. I found much peace inside, but not the answers that I was looking for. After the conference, going back home, I told my mom and my sister about what he had been talking about, and I was telling them, why don't we try to have a contact with ETs through meditation? We tried to free our minds from any thought and tune in to the universe. If they were sending messages, they probably also have the ability to know when somebody is listening to them or not. There was a lot of enthusiasm, but no base, no solid thing really. So that night, the night of the 22nd of January of 74, my mom and me together around the table. We put some papers there, and we decided that we would write down whatever came into our minds, and then we would check the ideas and would try to find a message in there. That night, I received my first psychography. In my mind, I had the image of eyes that were out.
Esos ojos los encontré muchos años después en las estupas, allá en el Tíbet, en la India, pues en el Himalaya, donde he tenido también la oportunidad de estar. Eran los mismos ojos, no de Buda, de los extraterrestres. Entonces, al principio eran trazos desordenados y luego un mensaje escrito a gran velocidad. El supuesto mensaje decía: sala de hogar, buena para hacer comunicación. Me llamo Oxalc, soy de Morlen, ustedes le llaman Ganímedes, una de las lunas de Júpiter. Podemos tener contacto con ustedes, pronto nos verán. Yo leí eso y me reí, dije, ya me rayé ya. Esto me lo inventé yo. No puede ser tan fácil, si no cualquiera tendría contacto. Entonces, mi madre y mi hermana me dijeron que ellas habían sentido lo mismo, solo que no lo habían escrito. Yo les dije, olvídense, es su gestión. El ambiente familiar, la conferencia.
And my sister, who's younger than me, she took the phone and started phoning friends, telling them, you know what happened to us tonight? Sixto has communicated with an ET. And next day, there were 20 people there in our room. Everybody was pressing so that we would repeat the experiment from the night before, the previous night, because I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to lie to anybody. But everybody insisted so much that just to make sure that it wasn't a doubt, and then we asked for a proof, for an evidence. They told us that we should go 60 kilometers away in the south of Lima, Peru, in a place called Chilta, in the desert, because the 7th of February of 74 at 9 o'clock, we would see a ship, a craft appearing, and this would be the confirmation that the contact was real. We went there one day before, so that we would spend a night in the desert. Because we wanted to see that we saw, okay, maybe this is a plane or something else. We wanted to be completely sure that it was it. We went there and we had the appointment, and we saw the light lightening up as if it was day. And then we saw a light coming out on the top of the mountains, and it was in the horizon, on the right. And the group that was dispersed came together, and everybody was saying, oh, come on, I see it, you see it, what's this light? And then somebody screamed, oh, it's moving. And then the light came down in our direction, and the closer it got, we were going backwards. And when the object placed itself 80 meters more or less on top of us, it was a stealing of lights, and there was an object going round and round, projecting a light that was like we were in midday. That moment we were panicking. We felt horror, and were very afraid. And some of my friends wanted to hide behind me, was saying, Sixto, come on, tell them they go. Come on, you communicate with them. And I was saying, but I don't even know how this works. The last thing that I would have imagined is that this was real. And it was on top of all of us. All of us, not only me, everybody noticed that they were telling us that they weren't coming down because we were not prepared, that we would have a preparation sometime and some place. Months later, the craft landed, and we could see all the people inside. When we went back home, I told my dad that he was a scientist. Look, we have had a contact with an ET, and my father said, what? Yeah, look, this, and then we told him the story, and he thought that we were joking on his investigations. And then we insisted very much, and that's there were people from the Air Force that came with us to the desert, and in the sky we could saw a cylindrical object that was about 150 meters long. They had telescopes, and they thought they were going to lose their time, waste their time, and that they will be doing an astronomy session. They didn't believe that they would see a ship there. So my father was totally surprised, and he was saying, "No, come on, this is not possible. I've been investigating Omni for so many years, and now these people come here and they have a contact with my children. This is not fair." A month later, we were 8 people. From these 20, we were 8 people that received messages. My girlfriend at that point, Marianita, my wife at the moment nowadays, there was my sister, it was my mom, boys and girls, men and women, we all received messages, and not only from somebody called Oxan, there were ETs, masculine and feminine, who were communicating with us, and they said that they are coming to Earth, and they have been coming for eons, and in our galaxy has a government composed by 24 beings, which they call the Council of the World Confederation of the 24 Worlds. Under these 24, there are a hierarchic posts. There are the engineering, genetical engineers, a kind of seed planters, and then the guardians and observers, and closer to us, the instructors. And these 24 elders decide who and in which conditions they can come to our planet to help us, or to avoid that anyone can hurt us and our cosmos. Every time we went to the desert, daytime, nighttime, when we had an appointment, we could see 1, maybe, or 2 or 3 objects, or maybe 1 sighting that would divide in different objects, or that maybe was bringing down some small drones and spheres, 30 centimeters of diameter up to 3 meters. Some were very small, some were very big, and they had different colors. Some came so close to us and showed us like a kind of an eye. So everything that these spheres were seeing, they were showing inside the crafts, and they didn't need to land to know what was happening down there. Every time we went out there, they were coming. They were there. They were. In June, from the 74th, the group had grown very much. Each one of us had been bringing relatives, friends, people they knew. We were 50 or 60 people that we would go to every time out, every time we were invited to the desert, in the south of Lima. Suddenly these beings, through these writing messages, they were telling us, from next point, please don't go more than 7 people. Take groups that have that synchronize, that have affinity, to prepare to the physical contact. The group didn't like that. We didn't like that we were divided, because we were a lot. But we had the list of the 7 first people. We were in the car that one of the fathers lent to the child. We left the car, we started walking, and we went up to a point called La Mina, the mine. It's a mine, soils, and we had to walk to get there. It's like a cave, the mine. And I was talking to my friend, and I was asking him a question, and he doesn't answer. I looked there, and he wasn't there. I spoke to the others, and to my surprise, I realized that I'm 2 kilometers in front of everybody in the mine, and I was alone, because I couldn't explain myself what had happened to me, like this teletransportation case. The first thing that I thought was, I turn around and I go back running to the place that we usually used, and look for the others and ask them what had happened to me. And I started running, and then behind a mountain there was a light beam. I thought they were the boys with the lights they had. I went there, and 100 meters away on the ground there was a half moon, a golden half moon, around 10 meters of diameter, that was pulsating like a heartbeat. And then I thought, oh my gosh, the ETs are here, and I'm alone. And because until that moment I had seen everything on the air, and I was alone, and this was on the ground. And then I said, oh my gosh, I cannot stay here. So I turned around and started running. I forgot why I was there 2 kilometers away from the place I was. And then I had to look for the others to make them see. And then as I was going away, I had the bad feeling of somebody's looking at me. And so I stopped, I turned around, and I saw from this luminous dome, there was a silhouette, an anthropomorphic humanoid from somebody with the hand up. The previous photos are real photos. This is a recreation. It's not a real photo. I saw that from the inside there was a being coming out. The appearance of this being, 1.80 meters high, the face was a little bit wider than ours, the eyes were almond eyes, the ones that I had in my mind every time I received the messages. The appearance like in Korean or Oriental. It was not like a big-headed guy or so. It was not a Nordic from Norway or Sweden. He looked like the Korean guy, but 1.80 meters high, and he had a strong body, like a culturist. And he was wearing something sportive and long hair, not very much hair but long, and he was making gestures with the hands to communicate. And what I realized was that he was saying, Amok-san, I'm the being that has been communicating with you since the beginning, and this what you have crossed, it's a dimensional portal. It's a gate in space-times, and they told me that they were using their technology and their psychic powers to dematerialize a person and get the molecular structure disappear and taking it somewhere else. And he told me that I would go with him to more than Ganymedes, one of the 16 moons of Jupiter, 600 millions of kilometers away from the Earth in our solar system, and that the time that I would live there wouldn't correspond the time from here. I think I was there around 4 or 5 days with them, but when I came back, only 15 minutes went away, had disappeared. So enough time so that the group came to me and saw me coming out of the light. This is a recreation. When he asked me to follow him after some steps, just like I followed him, we were in a very different place to the desert in the south of Lima. At Diwan there was a valley between mountains. We could see big couples, a big domos, so to say. And they were taking the horizon. It was 15, 18 times bigger than there was Jupiter. And they said they created a micro atmosphere and micro weather only on top of their cities that extends basically in the Earth of Jupiter, that they have mining colonies, that there are big oceans under the surface of the Jupiter moon, and that they use the geothermal energy, the volcanoes energy, that they are active, and that they come from Orion, which is between 300 and 500 light years, and that they come to the Earth with many different intentions. We went walking, and I've been able to see men, women, and some children. They also have sexual relations to procreate, and they have to be very careful with the demography because they are capable of. Told me that they don't have democratic elections. They have developed clairvoyance. They can see the aura, the bioplasmatic body or electromagnetical belt that is around the beings. They know that men and women are called for their higher evolution to choose the community. They have a council of 12 people that coordinate and direct their colonies. They're in this Jupiter moon. He told me that someday our technology would allow us reach our moon and live there, and we will adapt life according to our needs. That's what they have done there. They are not better than us. Simply they are in a different evolution moment. It's like the big brother that's at university. He's not better than you because you're in high school or in kindergarten. We walked together with him, and he took me so that I could see many things. He told me that they had seaweed plantations. That's the food they eat on top of the ice surface that is on top of the oceans of the Jupiter moon. Some years ago, Galileo, the son from the last generation, detected spots from what seems to be seaweed on top of the surface of the moon of Jupiter. And in 2015, NASA confirmed the existence of oceans as big as the ones in the Earth in Jupiter's moon. But we said that 43 years ago. And one of the things that I have been more criticized during these 43 years is that I repeat myself a lot. That I always repeat the same. I always say the same. There are people that don't like that I always say, I give the same testimony. I cannot change what happened. How can I change what I explain and explain things that are different from what it was? Many of these experiences, I lived them in group. And other colleagues lived exactly the same. And in my books, I have 20 books published. I also have a book in English that explains everything in English. It's called The Invitation. I imply a lot of people that also lived the same experiences that I had. When I asked them how they did to travel around the universe, he said it was very simple. The universe is full of energy. We don't need fuel or petrol stations. Simply the energy is there all over the place, in everything. So the ships are big condensers from this cosmic energy, and all stars are radiating energy into the universe, and this energy comes together and it makes energy rivers, and it goes together in the mountains, and we have small streams of water and big rivers, and these rivers that fuse to the sea. The same happens with the stars and energy. We can see this in all universe, and they use this as big roads, and with a big impulse they can reach anything. And the same as any highway has a tunnel from time to time. In the universe we have tunnels or door portals. They don't go through the universe kilometer a kilometer. They fold the universe like folding a piece of paper, and we come from here and they go to the other side of the universe, and when they come back they still have time to eat there, to have lunch. And the same beings that have been here 100,000 years ago, or like Moses in 3,400 years ago, they are the same ones that are visiting us nowadays. For them this is last year or last month. They also say that when they want to go from one galaxy to another one, it doesn't matter how far this is, simply they go to the center of the galaxy. And they go into the center of the galaxy where there are no black holes, according to them, but supermassive stars that work as folding cosmical foldings, like the dimensional portals. Like Mario Bros, there's a boy coming in this tunnel and goes out this tunnel, and they go into the middle of the galaxy, to the center of the galaxy, and they go out of the center of another galaxy. It's like saying the door is there. Okay, I'm going to go out of this room, but I'm going to go the other way, right? No, come on, Sixto, you have to go that way. No, but this is closer. no, come on, you have to go out the other way. And they use these shortcuts, these cosmic shortcuts. And it's curious because many scientists have discovered that the behavior of galaxies, the quantity of black matter that the galaxy contains, makes you think that in the center there should be a wormhole more than a black hole, which is considered to be in our galaxy. And this is information that science is showing and opening up, but we have been knowing it for 43 years. 43 years ago in Ganímedes, this being told me that from 1992 and forward there would be a radiation, an incredible radiation coming from the center of the galaxy, a pulsation, a pulse generated for this central star or monastic sun that is in the center of the galaxy. This energy appears every 26,000 years in our solar system and produces glaciations and alterations of the magnetic nucleus, so the planet gets bigger, and that's what we know of the big tectonic expansion. And there's earthquakes and volcanoes going on, all this activity. When Darwin elaborated the theory of species, he knew that each time there's a planetary mutation. He didn't know which was how often this happened and what provoked it. The ETs 43 years ago, they told us it's a pulse that the galaxy radiates every 26,000 years, and this pulse comes to our solar system and creates a big metamorphosis, a big transformation, a big mutation generalized in the sun and all the planets in the solar system, and also in the beings that live in the planet. And just like the Earth has become telluric with lots of storms, how do we behave as beings? We are seismic, telluric, tormented. And this energy affects our sun, and the sun affects the Earth, and the Earth affects us. We also can affect the planet and the whole solar system if we all get together. Many people get together with the same intention. Now, speaking about this radiation, about this energy that happens every 26,000 years, 43 years ago, it's ridiculous, but in November from 2010, the Fermi, the telescope, the Gamma telescope, detected a pulse radiating from the center of the galaxy. In the reconstruction made by the NASA, the pulse appears as if it was the cellular magnetosis, the birth of something new. And it's energy with a purple light, referred to mystics, faith, and magic, or it's the energy of change. We are living a process of transformation process, change shift process, and it's starting. Hurricanes, earthquakes, it all starts now. It's something terrible. It's not that we have to be afraid of that. The human being has a limited potential, unlimited potential that can take us to the place and direct these events.
In 2015, NASA took a picture of where the galaxy, where the black hole in the galaxy, it would say 335. So it would 325 million years distance. So where there's so that confirms what it was detected from the nuclear from the core of our galaxy, and this core that emits energy from the center of the galaxies. So everything that's happening now on the climate change, it's not provoked by the human beings. It's accelerating the process, but it's not the cause. The real cause is the behavior, the rare behavior of the sun. Our sun gets in crisis every 11 years. But why now the spots are more violet color than ever? It's because it's the same pulse that coming from the center of the galaxy, joining this this increasing of the activity of the sun, so it affects the whole system. We've seen some strange things here in 2015. 3 hurricanes, one after the other, at the same time. It's impossible. That couldn't happen. So you see there's a cosmic effect. This is pictures from June 2009 to May 9th, 2000. Stripes, hot stripes that they were like big storms, have disappeared completely. Jupiter is losing color. Saturn, all the northern hemisphere of Saturn has a lot of hurricanes. They're very powerful, more powerful than the ones we have on Earth. We see the changes of color in Pluton, in Neptune. And why? Because we're at the end of the cosmic cycle and in the beginning of the new one. So when I, 4 days after, I came back to the desert. It happened just 15 minutes had passed in the desert. So the group had arrived when I was popping out of the light. So one of my colleagues, my friends, could see that I was coming from nowhere, from the nothing. So what was the light? They asked me. So I didn't want to go into details to explain everything to them because it was too much. So next week we all went into the light and we have experienced similar experiences. So the next weeks after that they were living the same experiences, not necessarily the same spots that we had contact, but maybe in other places. So that was Juan José Benítez, a journalist from Spain, in the '74 published about the Sendra, that we talk about that. So the 25th of April in 1975, 3 years after, a commander Commander Andres from Rancabo was with other soldiers, and we're in the frontier, in the border between Chile and Peru, where there's a lot of and they saw a light over their hill. So one soldier there just cover me up because back me up because I'm going up there. And when he went into the light, so when he popped out of the light, he had a big 4 or 5 days beard growing on his face, and so he didn't remember what he lived in the light. So the next years after that, he was struggling because the militaries wanted to arrest him. A month after the sender had the experience, a ship landed on the desert, the '74. So remember that the cameras back then were plastic. There was like a cube on top, and it would explode when you would click. So a lot of the pictures wouldn't come up. So, as the time went by, we had better cameras, but the pictures didn't come up either. So that day, the ship landed. So they didn't tell us that it was 7. There would have to be 7. We were 25 that day. So only 4 approached the UFO, the ship. So we saw a light and a humanoid 250 meters tall. He looked like a Nordic Scandinavian, and he was wearing a shiny suit with something in his chest. So he was doing some gesticulation with his hands, but it was a mental communication. He said it was coming from Apu, a planet called Apu, that it's in Alpha Centaurus, around 4 light years from here. And they are the ones that are communicating with us, not us with them. He told us to go to a place up in the mountain, 4,000 meters of latitude, and then there we would continue having these contacts. To say that we were in contact with beings from a planet called Apu, it's similar to Earth, that goes around its own sun, just 4 4.2 light years away from here. So in 2012, scientists found the exoplanet, the closest exoplanet ever discovered. A planet that has oceans, that has atmosphere, that has rocks, it's a rocky planet. It's in the habitable zone of the, and it goes around Alpha Centaurus. It was not us. It was, we realize now that it was reality what they told us 43 years ago. So Makawasi, it's a mountain of 4 kilometers of length, and it has like 50 different natural formations. This is 27 meters tall. It looks like an sphinx, like the face of an Inca. We have like a person of a black race here. It's impressed. It's incredible. We were visited there as well by ships, and we saw them physically. This is a real photo. This vein is called Mardox. It comes from Silux. It's 1.90. He doesn't have. It's all red. It looks like red. It was taken this picture from a long distance. They say that they would this message that they were bringing. They would put that message in everywhere, so everyone would understand our message. So these people, that they would give the message, they had been prepared before, and we knew about that, to be prepared. But we thought, how come the press, the media is going to be interested in us? And when we came back from Marcahuasi, we bumped into a Spanish journalist, JHON Benítez, Juan José Benítez, the worldwide famous, known for his Troya horses books. So at that time, he was just a journalist from that was sent to Peru to cover this news, that we had contacts with the extraterrestrials. So how come in the mountains these beings told us, are we gonna put this into the media, and then these journalists end up in Peru? So when we were in the mountains, my dad in the street, he bumped into another journalist from the FA agency, Enrique Valls, Enrique Valls, a Catalan journalist, and he asked us, he asked my dad, any UFO news around here, and my dad asked, told him. So they liked that here in Spain, so they sent another journalist, and that was Juan José Benítez, and they sent the journalist. We arrived home, the journalist was there, and my dad comes out of the house with Juan José Benítez and says, guys, so good that you come. This guy has come all the way from Spain to interview you. So we saw the confirmation of the message that we just received in the mountain in front of us. So when we told Juan José Benítez our experience, he told us, if really these beings are interested to let everyone know about the contact, why don't you tell them the unique proof, the only proof that we haven't had till now. I think the batteries are low. I don't know if I can. It's a rebel device. Can you do it manually? Okay, now it's working. So Juan José Benítez told us, if that's really true, why don't you ask them to do this? The pictures are easy to fake, and even if there's a lot of witnesses, never are objective witnesses, and so it would be nice if they would say, okay, a date and a day and a time. And so Juan José came with us to the desert, and he saw the ships himself doing maneuvering. These UFOs were maneuvering in the skies, and it was so. Juan José was so impressed that he published on the press, I saw 2 UFOs. And he published the first book ever, SOS UFOs, SOS to Humanity. The next year, in 75, Juan José Benítez came back to Peru, and he came with Fernando Mujica, another journalist from agency. So we went to a beach north of Peru. So the ships came back again. So he did another book, Juan José, about 100,000 kilometers after the chasing UFOs. So we've been inviting the press several times, so they are witnesses as well of the content. And it had to pass 12 years before I was invited to go inside one of these crafts in the ships, and it was my wife the one who received this message. And the message said that they invite me to go on board, and it was not because my wife wanted to get rid of me. We had a good relationship. So we were in the desert, some colleagues, and an object appeared, green color, passed on top of us, and when he was going away, he sent a light beam that it came on top of me, but I couldn't, and it just took me up. I was floating, and under my foot I could see some device, some portal, some gate closing, and then suddenly, I mean, a circular shape room with a lot of red lights around. The floor was like a mirror. I was tense because even you know that they're good people and you have this good feeling, but you always are afraid of the unknown. So at the end there was a door there, and I tried to walk, and when I had a look, I saw an hexagonal room with inverted pyramids, and it was so weird because they avoid angles. So they took my attention because it cuts the energy, so everything has to be around. So that one was hexagonal shape. So and with these pyramids in the center and cylinders, they were like from the bottom down were dark, and from the bottom up were translucent, and you could see minerals in it. And then on the side there were 3 rows of screens. They were curved screens, and I could see that they were moving, and they were just mixing between the screens. Then I saw a lot of lights, and I went into that room, and it was like the floor was like yellowy, and there was no one there. So I went there, and I don't know how come I put one of my fingertips on one of these discs, and I thought that some image would appear, these guys would appear, and then said, hey, and just get comfortable, make yourself comfortable, welcome, whatever. So I put my fingertip on top of it, nothing happened. But what happened is that I couldn't take it out. So I was stick to so I started to feel a bit like electricity shocks. So I started to get anxious and think, oh, these guys are going to come in and they're going to see me here trying to manipulate this ship. So I was thinking more on them than myself, and I could take my fingerprint out of that. So I went to the other room and I said, if you guys invited me, where are you guys? So in front of me, a gate opened, and I saw 4 humanoids, one tall, 180 tall, like the Ganymedes people, and another 3 little guys with big heads. So the only thing I could do is just say hi with my hand, and just like, they didn't move, and it was like, oh, probably they bothered because I've been touching things. So the tallest one came walking to me, like I said, like the Oriental features, and he started to talk to me in perfect Spanish. He said, don't be afraid, you're gonna be an hour with us. And he had like a suit all around his body, so you could see only the hands and the face. The other ones were like big heads, and they were moving around the room. So it depends on where, at the point of the room they were bigger or little, so that was so weird. So when they were passing through, like close to me, I could see that they didn't have life inside. They were like an androids, so like they had like white faces, the black eyes were huge, couple of holes for nose, and a little slit for a mouth. And then one of them came walking to me, bringing a rectangular box, metallic one. I thought it was a book. I thought it was a box, and then I thought it was a book because he had like some hieroglyphics on top of this book, so I could touch this. When I touched the symbols, I could hear music and I could see images in my brain. So I could start getting into my mind what the being was telling me and the images from the symbols from this book. So, and they were telling us that we are a result of a genetic experiment from the extraterrestrials. Throughout the whole story, there's been hybridizations and mix of genetics. There have been people who get lost in this planet, and invasions and deportation of people from this planet. And after the galaxy wars, they've been targeting our planet. And if we don't know this missing link, the ET missing link in our link to a story, we won't get it. But the story doesn't end up here. For them, the time in universe is like a spiral that goes up. And one of the curves of this spiral, there's our planet Earth, where 1,200 million years Earth died, and not only the life was extinct, the Earth disappeared. A billion years ago. So 65 million years ago, they're talking about the dinosaurs and everything end up, but no, that's not true. The Earth disappeared a billion years ago. So this spiral and of the timeline, I mean, one of them, the Earth died, and the rest continue, and one of them didn't. So we've evolved technologically a lot, and emotionally as well, and that has driven them to do a plan, a cosmical plan, and that was to select 8 planets that were destroyed before, that had been destroyed, and they would travel through the time and through the space, through dimensional gates, and they would arrive before the planets would die, and they would not let the planet to die and do an alternative parallel timeline that it's been mixing with the real life timeline of the universe. So we live in a kind of a virtual reality, in a parallel reality, in a time that it's going parallelly with the real time of the universe. So they can pop out and pop out, pop in and pop out, sorry. Because they come from the real timeline of the universe. So the intention was to create the right conditions so we can create a race with a different pattern that would prioritize the love and the feelings. Not because they don't love, it's because love is the common thing that we all have. So we can be really compassionate, but a raper that had killed 20 people, and everyone is outside saying, please don't kill him. So that's what we are, the human being, controversial. We can do the best and the worst. So this capacity of the contrast, that's what they are interested in us. We are sociological, metaphysical, anthropological experiment from where they try to extract information to adapt it to their reality, to get out of this circle of blockage. So once they have all information and they are satisfied, they do a reset, and it looks like we've never been here and we never existed. a lot of civilizations, like Aztecas. They had the conception of the two-headed snake, two-headed serpent. So it was like two snakes. One of the heads would end up eating the other head. So you know about the hieroglyphics, the crop circles. At the end of the 70s, they started to appear in Australia, then in the south of Australia, now in more than 35 countries, always on wheat fields, always with the similar patterns. How do you know they're not fake? Oh, because the wheat is not broken, it's just been folded with a strange mutation in the crystals of the grains of the wheat. So there's a radiation that was affecting the plants in the field. So you can see here the serpent with two heads, with a real time and the alternative parallel timeline. They never can be unified, they have to be always parallel. So on the other hand, the crop circles are saying and are showing us that yes, there is the opportunity that we can get the two lines to work together, two parallel lines. So they would, in the past, they would come on one parallel line and they would intervene, and then they would go and then they led us to evolve our way. So within these 8 planets that were selected, 3 of the planets got destroyed. 4 of the planets got stuck and didn't evolve. So at the end, they were a copy of their own process of evolution, a bad copy. So they lost the control when they started experimenting, and so anything can happen. The original plan can happen in the Earth or something different. So the fact that we've had hybridization and mix of and the portation of extraterrestrials, these both timelines are starting to dangerously stick together, with maybe end up being just one timeline. The Mayas, in a book of the Brujo Jaguar, the things that are going to happen, they said that was possible and that would happen. And it's carved in a lot of monuments and sculptures from the Maya culture. So they would say that there were going to be a synchronization of the times, the 21st December 2012. It was like a planetary birth. The end of a circle, a cycle, and the start of a new cycle. So these crop circles are talking about that, about the alternative timeline and the possibility of joining these both timelines. This experience that I lived in 1986, and it was published the same year, they used that crop circle. They show us our solar system, the Sun, the Mercury, the orbit of Venus, and the Earth orbit. And look what happened with the orbit of the Earth. There's no Earth. In the real time, there's no life on the Earth. There's no Earth on the universe in the real timeline. So that what could have happened at the 21st of December 2012. So when they put two timelines would come together, there will be a third reality. So not the things would change the 2012 December would change slowly, or maybe in a retrospective way, maybe we could change the extraterrestrial past. So for us it would be like as if we always were existing, as if we were never been away. What a scientist proof could be to back the things that I'm saying. In March 2009 in Hanover, the GO 600 in Germany registered a strange noise that the Carl Sagan ended up he ended up with a conclusion that we're living in a matrix, in a virtual reality. In 11th of May 2010, Nikodem Pawlowski said that all in the solar system, especially in the Earth, in our solar system, there's something going on that it could open a portal or a wormhole that it could take us to another reality.
Sí, bueno, decirles de que en el año,
in the 1997, we did the fifth summoning the press, the fifth time that we were doing that. They agreed to stay the journalists agreed to stay 6 days with us in the desert. Especially the women would come. The men wouldn't spend that much time on the desert. Last day the ship came and a humanoid came out of it, and this halo of light. These extraterrestrials invite the journalists, the girls, and they would boldly go in. And so they were from the Diario Expreso from Peru, and he published that on the news what the extraterrestrial would told to the journalist. Alicia Escribano was there from Buenos Aires newspaper, and one from Ecuador as well, Quito. So in 2009 we did as well an excursion to Aragonese Pyrenees. So Angel Barcarcel and the journalists came and they asked me about my experience, and we are seeing it ourselves. Can we go in? Because the halo was there as well. So they went in, and 15 minutes after, they said that, I don't know, we have been here 10 weeks or a year, and they were like tall beings that were taking us to incredible places. So throughout all these years, we had the experience, and we could call the press to come and have a look. So you'll find a Sixto Paz .com on internet, and you'll see the videos there with the press, with us, with the media. It's called Impresionantes, incredible sightings in Mexico. So they say that could we do like a summoning with a lot of people? So at Teotihuacan pyramids and an incredible archaeological place. So during the whole day, during the daylight, 55 people, just with the journalist and with us, we start meditating, and all the tourists, you can see the rest of the tourists pointing at 6 different UFOs maneuvering around the sky. The interesting now, the video is not maybe the things on the sky, but the journalist's attitude, because at the beginning it's like, oh yeah, Sixto Paz invited us, but we'll see, and now at the end they were excited and saying, no, this is 6 objects, incredible. So first of all, what that shows us, we're not alone. Second, there's beings from other planets coming here since the beginning. We've been protected. It's not easy for the bad aliens to come here and take this planet. We have protection as well. So a lot of people are catastrophical, and they just want to put fear into the people. So it's the best way to control everyone. But through all these years, we had a lot of contacts and sightings through all the world. I would never had any aggressive or violent response from them to us. I don't say that there's these bad intention aliens, but I like to say as well that 2006, for instance, we were called by extraterrestrials to go to the Pascua Island, great, amazing places on the planet. Okay, I just want to show you some images, slides. In 2006 we went to 2006 because they told us to go. A psychiatrist that is a counselor of the Chilean Air Force expert. He came and he communicated with me, and he called me and said, "Can I come with you?" And I say, "Doctor, a long time ago, there's people thinks that we need a psychiatrist, so that's the best thing to have yourself to come with us." So the psychiatrist came with us. We stayed in the Pascua Island for a week, and we were doing meditation, and I got this psychographic, this automatic writing technique, and they told me what time and what day they were going to appear in the island. So the psychiatrist would have thought that one of the words that I expected. Then the psychiatrist came with us the day before of the contact, and we had a meeting with the militaries there, and we said, look, we're going to have a contact tomorrow here in the Vulcan, So be aware in the radar in case that it comes. So these two objects that came and doing maneuvers. The psychiatrist couldn't believe his eyes. We went to the airport, see the radar, and all these militaries come and give me a big hug and say Sixto was incredible. 2 UFOs maneuvering, and we have them on radar. We picked them on the radar. Okay, the psychiatrist said, okay, it's not a collective hysteria episode. So this military is not part of the military anymore. It's now part of our group, and he meditates with us. So 9 times we've been in Pascua Island, and we had incredible stories there and experiences. So on my YouTube channel, you'll see a UFO from the Pascua Island, an OVNI from Pascua Island, and with militaries in the video. So it's amazing. So it's been, this contact has been, it's been happening for 40 years. I've been with Travel Channel doing a documentary there in the Pascua Island, and we went with Canada TV as well. And when we were there, they're starting to film, especially the Canadians one. And what happened what happened with a group of people start meditation? That's what they wanted to check out. So we started meditating, and behind us, you can see through the film, the ship appears just behind us. So it proves that they are always there, but we don't really realize that they are there. Any person can have contact. It depends more on them. It's more in their hand than in our hands. I'm not a special person. I had a special experience, but like me, a lot of people. And if I've really been part of this contact, it's because of my father, because he was an investigator of the UFO world. So this experience, it's been maintaining. It's been non-stop during 40 years. You'll see 20 books published. They talk all about all the different fields in the ufology, the experiences. So the last book is called The Sanctuary of Earth, and it's information of all the information we got from the Pascua Island that the extraterrestrials have told us. So in those incredible places in that Pascua Island. The sanctuary of the earth. You'll find it there in the table, and you'll find all these stories as well. I wrote the book in English. It's called Invitation. If you're interested, and the people who are interested in the techniques, in the practice that we do, there's some CDs there of meditation that we've done register in the studio. So if you wanna buy them, just feel free to have a look. And could you solve the enigmatic mystery? You want to start with the question, the Q&A? Let's give them a big clap, please.
Despite the years, he has the same waste, and he keeps having the possibility to emotion everybody to get us there. There's one question there. Can you please stand up so that you can see it? One question, Sixto. What is the relationship between the extraterrestrial contact with Marian apparitions? Many of the cases, Marian apparitions, they are ETs that have been misinterpreted for the cultural information of the people. I remember, for example, in Fatima, the previous year it was an angel, a male-looking guy that appeared in front of Jacinta Lucia and Jacinto, and on the 13th of May of the 17th, where the next time she appeared, and then the last time in October there was a sighting. There were a sighting with thousands of people. It had rained. The clouds were down, but they saw a luminous object coming down that was going round on top of himself, spiraling, and produced a kind of explosion, like crossing the sound barrier in 1917, and then it went up straight away, and it dried the clothes of the people and went into the clouds, and the clouds absorbed somehow, like as if a giant Hoover, and this is the description we have in with the journalist, the description of a spaceship. I don't doubt that we have real Marian appearances, that spiritual beings can interact with humanity, but in many cases of these Marian appearances are being related to UFOs. I don't hesitate about angels being there from parallel universes or dimensions, but many ETs have been misinterpreted as angels, because the word angels, it's a generical word that means messenger, and messenger can be anyone. I have a good news for you. Shall we do a fast viewing of the Michio Kaku, this prestigious scientist, has declared in 2014 that thanks to the quantum physics, we are in a virtual reality. We live in a virtual universe. In March '89, we invited the press, 40 journalists from different countries, from 8 countries. This is the faces they had. Leticia from Miami, José Greg, Canal 23, Beatriz Vargas, Miami Herald. And it was all on the first page in the journals and the newspapers, what they photographed. They interviewed themselves, one another, and so on. And they told me, Sixto, come on, at least a documentary world, an hour long. And we could see the different channels, Telemundo, and they had received the visit of USA groups, the Men in Black, that were telling them to treat the news in a very small way, and they shortened it, and so they could only get 3 minutes. And they called me and they said, Sixto, if you hadn't left this censorship, we would still think that there's a hidden politics and that this is exaggerated. But the journalist met Cristina Saralegui. It's a talk show where all of them were going to be there together with me, and we were going to be there and declare how about the information and how this was censored. And we had all the tickets, and we had everything paid. I went to the States, and my wife told me, don't go, this is a trick, this is a trap. And I went to the program, they didn't allow me to go, and I was deported at that moment. And the person that was taking me away and saying, look, I can invent anything. You decide whatever you want. I can say that you did this and this and that, and you would end up your life in a federal prison, and there, anything can happen there. And although my mom is North American, she died, and it was from Graceville, Montana. I wasn't allowed to go to the States, and it was forbidden for me to go there for 25 years, and I have been invited for Senator Robert Mendez and Vasquez, invited by the American government. And I was in Washington. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been there. Since in 2014, I have visited with Seves to the States. And as I said, if this is really a lie, why should we forbid somebody who tells lies to come to the States? Every time we have published that openly in the press, and the journalists have published this. France Press confirms contact with ovnis in Chilca. 300 people were there. France Press were there, and they saw 5 objects 4.5 hours long. The experience in '97, where the journalists went into the Sendra and experienced something that was only reserved to contactees. The psychiatrist, Dr. Mario Usuel, at the foot of the Ajuton Gariti. This here, it's a ship. There's another one there. Here am I in Mataveri in the airport, showing the Ranocao volcano, and this head is mine, and here's the UFO. Here's the UFO. I think you can see it. The object changed form. Before it was oval, and then it was a disc, and then it ended up like a triangular object. Thousands of kilometers away in England, the same object appeared in England at that moment, with these spheres at the bottom. It's curious, yeah? Peculiar. I was here with military. They were witness of the seeing, and I was there showing where everything happened in the volcano Ranocao. I don't know if you can see that. There's an object like a cylindric object. Angeles Macua and Angel Valcarcer on plain light side witness the cylinder waves. This is here in Spain, in Aragon. You don't need to go to Peru. It depends on the preparation and the type of person you are. My wife, Ala Marinita, my oldest daughter, my youngest daughter, and Ana Maria Paul, the writer, the judge from this case, closed case from Miami. It's a big program with a Spanish-speaking TVs, and she was with us on the 8th time when we were in Chilca Desert, and she, as a journalist, and I suggest all the journalists that were with us, the ship appears. The video is on YouTube, and the judge appears saying, everybody saw it, we cannot deny it. And I say, we are only another group of contactees, we're not the best or the most important. The contact implies everybody, we are part of everything. We are simple, normal people, nothing else. And this Comercio Lima newspaper doesn't usually talk about this. And this is the journalist photo at 9:10 after the second time. The second light appears again, and it is shinier than before, and that's what the journalist says here. To round it up, to sum up, all the human beings, Laura Eisenhower had said that human being has unlimited potential. We live and knowing that we all know that if we all get together, gathered together with the same intention, nothing will be impossible. The 11th of the 2011, hundreds and thousands of people, we gathered together to meditate and try to create a critic mass that can direct these events, that can neutralize or transmute everything that has been prophetized or misinterpreted that could happen in 2012. NASA contributed getting people afraid of things because there was a solar problem and the satellites should disappear and we wouldn't have technology. And there's a lot of life. On the 5th and 6th of March on the 2012, there was the worst solar storm that had been, and we thought that the wave would come 24 hours later, but nothing happened. And what did the scientists say afterwards? From this deep analysis that we had, that we were lucky. We have to be scientists. So scientifical is to say we are lucky. In 2012, there were more than 1,400, a very high degree. How many people died in this? 465,000 people, less than a person per earthquake. But the residual effect from the critic mass didn't avoid that the things happened, but that they were less traumatic. Remember, in 2013, North Korea declared the war to South Korea. Everybody meditated, and the war lasted only 1 month. Nobody even shoot it, fired. In 2015, the Patricia hurricane, 7 degrees. From 5 we went to 7. Hurricane winds between 300 and 400 kilometers hour. We thought this Mexico would be totally devastated. Everybody got together, we prayed and we meditated, we saw a line, and we even, there were even UFOs in the Mexican coast, and the hurricane went to the coast, and that was a tropical storm and nothing happened. But for this, it's important that people gather together and that we build a common force together. The 9th time the press was invited in Chilca Desert, a plain daylight, filmed by Discovery Channel, that's the object. In 2014, 10th time that the press was invited. And the object, look at the object, it's weird, isn't it? It looks like a little angel, doesn't it? It looks a little bit like Kenneth Arnold description, it's quite like that. Leobardo Peña, one of the investigators, researchers, pointing the object on top of Teotihuacan, the Pyramid of the Sun. Here, this is an interview in Mexico, and he is behind. They are also interested about it. Some months ago, we were in Chile, and we went to the north of Chile, in Paihuano, where an ovni crashed there. That's the Roswell case in Chile, and we were having conferences there, and we went out with the authorities, and those are the objects that appeared in plain day sight. Everybody saw it. And recently, not long ago, we were in the Pascua Island with the Discovery Channel and Controversy Channel and the TV and the Canada TV, and we were meditating here on the edge of the volcano in Orongo. Here I am, and you can see that TV cameras got this object here. Could see this object here. 11 o'clock in the morning, plain day sight. We were meditating. We couldn't see it clearly. We saw it through Canada TV, that they had infrared lights. This is in the north of the island, plain this daylight, and everybody saw it. Thank you very much that you have been so good and so punctual. Thank you very much for your speech in 2 words. As this torero would say, impressive.